Why is your team not showing up for you? Typically, it has to do with you. And are you showing up for you? See, a lot of owners, when I speak to them, they're bitching about their team. Everyone does. Like everyone has a complaint about their team or who's not showing up. Two things I got to say about that. Who is showing up on your team? And are you neglecting them? Are you making sure you're actually thanking them for showing up the way you're expecting them to and the way they should show up for themselves? But more importantly, how are you showing up for yourself and how are you showing up for your team? So, one of the things I like to do is when this situation happens in my salon, I like to go to them and ask them how I could show up for them better. And I like to find out what their goals are. So, like, hey, Jennifer, what's happening? And then revisit the conversation about your goals. How's everything going? Did anything change from our last one on one meeting? And you can review your numbers of the past with them, but more importantly, you want to find out what's important to them. So, how's it going with the new apartment? Are you still looking? Did you buy the house yet? Did you get the new car? Like, what are things that you learn about them through your conversations and being a leader? And then you tie their success and how they show up to those goals and how they can achieve those goals if they show up in the salon. And it's important that when you have this conversation, you ask them, how can I help you achieve these goals? Like, how can I really help you show up every single day? Like, how can I show up for you better? And then you listen to them. And then you take notes, you record them, you put them in your computer, wherever you want to put them, and then you let them know what they can do for the salon. And so it's always a win-win. You want to seek first to understand how you could show up better as an owner, and then you want to make sure you go over their goals and make sure the activities that they're doing are going to help them get to that goal. See, a lot of people don't understand what is where they should put their focus on. And so if you have stylists who are maybe they have a negative mindset or a limited belief around what's possible in the industry, or they have a limited belief around what it is to be successful, you have to first break those limited beliefs with your stylist. Then you have to form new beliefs with them. So what needs to be true, Jennifer, in your life or in the salon if you are going to achieve $4,000 a week? Like, how do we do that? Let her explain it to you. Well, if I posted more, if I did this, exactly. Ask them, what do you think you could be doing differently or doing more of to help you get to that goal? And then how can I help support you in those efforts? And these conversations need to be had. And because a lot of times they get discouraged, they think, A, first, you make all the money as an owner, but B, they think like, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm not cut out to be a hairstylist. And it's this negative self-talk that you have to make sure you intervene with because it's going to self-sabotage their whole entire career to the point where they're going to quit doing hair. So it's important that you get in these conversations with them. And when you help them show up for themselves and create that best version of them so they show up in all areas of life, they're going to show up for the salon. Take a look at your high performers. Take a look at what they do. Take a look at the conversations that they have with themselves and see if there's any patterns that are being repeated that they make that you can help influence the other stylists to make those patterns too. And you want to reverse engineer how that person got from $0 to $5,000 a week and then use those patterns for your new stylist or your stylists who are struggling. But if you're not showing up for you, if you've never done this before, so if you're an owner, and this is why ownership needs to be, it really is a skill set. Like leadership's a skill set, marketing a skill set, sales is a skill set, the art of influence is a skill set. And this is why ownership needs to be treated like it's a completely different profession. You're not a hairstylist anymore. You do hair, but you own a salon. So you might be really good at doing hair and really bad at owning a salon. And that's okay because at one point in your life, you were really bad at doing hair too. And guess what? Now you're good at it. So you can learn all of this stuff. And so if you're a new owner, part of the conversations you need to have with your team is, hey, I'm learning too. How can I show up for you better? And they're going to respect that. Don't have a chip on your shoulder that you're the owner and you know it all, or whatever owners have. Like a lot of people I've come in contact with do as I say, not as I do. I pay the bills here. But in reality, without your team, you have nothing. So it's important that you understand that it's a team effort here. And you as their leader needs to be honest and transparent. And if you don't know what you're doing, let them know. Hey, I'm trying to figure this out. There's a couple different books you can read. One's The 5 Levels of Leadership. The other one is Eaters Eat Last. Those are two good books that you can read and help refine your leadership skills because you want to make sure you're having the hard conversation with them, but you want to make sure you're leading them from a place of care and you're leading them with transparency and you're authentic. If you're just bullshitting, they're going to see through your bullshit and you're not going to believe it. And that is what people don't want to be around. So it's important that you just better yourself, just like you would cutting hair, just like you would with coloring hair, just like with extensions. You learn the skills to do them better. Learn the skills to be a better leader. And these problems of your team not showing up are going to start going away. So, James, I'm going to have you jump into the chat. If there's any chats today?
We got one. I mean, it's still early. Usually the show doesn't pick up till about 10,
That's all right.
20 minutes into the show. We've been going 6. One question from Ika Kawena. What if you have someone that would make a good fit for your team, but you don't get along with them? What then if no one likes them, but is a good fit?
Then if no one likes them, they're not a good fit. What are you basing them being a good fit on? The fact that they make money? So it's important that you have a culture in your salon. It's important that they have the same values in your salon. And if everyone has the same values and they vibe the same way, they should be a good fit. So what about them is not a good fit? That's what I want to know.
No response.
Yeah. I see owners, a good fit for a lot of owners is someone who's busy and they fill the salon with people. And that's going to ruin the growth of your salon because people aren't going to want to work there. I've worked in salons before where there was one stylist who was a rock star, yet nobody wanted to work with her. So people just avoided her. And then other stylists who would want to work at the salon, the other stylists who worked there would tell them not to work there because that lady was annoying to work with. So your star stylist might be the reason why you can't hire people. And so you guys have to honestly face that as a reality. You might have to let that person go because one person shouldn't be controlling 80% of your profit. That should not happen in the salon. You should have pretty much an even amount of income spread out through everybody. And I know there's an 80-20 rule. You're going to have your superstars, but you want to make sure that your team understands it's a team. There's no rock star, there's no superstar stylist, there's no one person that will make or break the salon. And if you're hiring someone based on the fact they bring in revenue as a good fit, it's not going to work. So it's important that you don't make that mistake because if nobody likes them or no one gets along with them, it's not a fun work environment. You should be excited to go to work. Like you should want to go to work and be excited to see your team and excited to have the conversation with them, excited to bring them coffee and hang out with them after work. Like this is like the vibe that all the salons I worked in that were really successful, that's what they had. And that is what you should hire for. Like make sure they're a really good fit because if no one gets along with them, they're not a good fit. James. Nothing? Beautiful. All right, guys.
Hold on. For example, she's responding, for
Good.
example, good quality work, but bad attitude.
She's not a good fit. I would much rather have somebody that I need to teach how to do hair with a good attitude than somebody who is great at hair with a bad attitude. 100%. Because she's always going to have a bad attitude. You always got to deal with that. So I like to hire for hunger and hire for character. Skill, I don't care about. It's cutting hair. It's not that difficult. It's coloring hair. It's not that difficult. I can teach them that, but I can't teach them how to be a good person. Right? That's just too much work for me. So if I'm going to hire somebody, they have to be a good person. And if they're not, then I won't hire them.